Hello YouTube. This is We All Juggle Knives, and wow, we've certainly got a lot of knives to juggle. You know, one thing people ask me all the time, they say, you have a very large collection. Of all the stuff you have to choose from, what do you use when you actually need to use a knife or an axe or any type of blade, for anything from camping to just clearing some brush, everyday tasks? What are your user blades? Okay, well in this video, I'm going to show you only the blades that I have used the hardest. These are my user blades. When push comes to shove, I got a lot of blades to choose from, but you're going to see the ones I actually choose when I need to use a blade. And these are, they're all going to be fixed blades because these are going to be my hard use blades. This is going to be a longer video, but I trust it will be worth your time. All right, so let's go through all of these. Okay, the first batch of knives. Now, if you're interested in the sheaths for all these, please check out the individual reviews, okay? Because I have a lot of stuff to cover, so I'm going to go fast and furious, just the knives. Ontario Pilot Survival Knife has been around for decades. I always recommend this when I get someone, usually a prepper will ask me, they'll say, I don't have a lot to spend on knives alone. What's a do-everything knife? I often recommend this because it's not too big, it's not too small, very reasonable price, around $35. Time tested, has been around for decades. You can hammer with that. Can be used as a tool, a camp tool, hunting knife, or as a weapon. It is a do-everything knife for a cheap, well, fairly cheap price. It's a good high carbon steel Ontario survival knife. Ontario Afghan, it's 5160 carbon steel. This is virtually indestructible. I've resharpened it, but I've used it quite a bit. And again, this is a go-to-war knife. It does come in different handle scales. This is the high vis, but they do have more stealthy colored scales if you want. But yes, highly recommended because, well, look at the thing. It's close to indestructible. Now that Ontario is great, but it's over $100. In the budget category for around $35, this is the Schrade Model 38, and this knife has taken so much abuse and survived. For this price point, this thing it's pretty phenomenal. It's a 1095 high carbon, and yeah, definitely a user. And if you're looking to go budget, a good option. This is a Schrade Model 37, same deal as that, 1095 high carbon, around $35, full tang of course, and just a bit of a different blade shape. But again, this is a great budget user. I have seen one or two of these break under hard use, but for $35, it's one of the best knives you can get for that price point, and mine has yet to break, and it's been through some abuse, really. K-bar potbelly. Love this knife because of its slicing, piercing, and chopping ability. Kind of a do-it-all knife. And also, I think you sense the theme. I prefer user knives that are extremely durable. I don't care if they're a little extra heavy. I do have more knives and lighter knives, but I wouldn't say that I use them super hard, whereas stuff like this can take such a beating. Yeah, it's a great knife. K-bar potbelly. I love the handle shape. K-bar Zombie Killer Tanto. I don't usually recommend a Tanto as kind of an all-purpose hard use knife, but this is an exception. You could argue this is more of a sharpened pry bar than a conventional knife. I would agree with you there, but that's exactly why I like it. And you see where I've been chopping and batoning with it quite a bit. The straight edge has its uses, just like, for example, on a meat cleaver. And it's just a very tough knife. The current models, I believe, are made in the USA. This is an older model. They used to be made in Taiwan. They're now made in the USA, but yeah, I like this. This will take some serious abuse. The K-Bar Becker BK5. Love this knife. You know, the BK9 gets a lot of love on YouTube, but this is another in the Becker series, BK5. It's only 1 inch shorter than the BK9, and yeah, mine is quite worn. It has a hammering pommel, and I just love the blade shape. I did put a new edge on this, so the edge should be pretty pristine. I've resharpened it a couple times. I've had it for a while. But yeah, BK5, this is my favorite Becker. The K-Bar Heavy Bowie. This is another knife that you can get for a good price. You see where I've been batoning with it, chopping. And yeah, I even did some stabbing with it into pieces of wood and so forth, just to test out the strength of that tip. I have seen 1 or 2 of these break in videos. You know, it is a full flat grind, right? So not strictly as strong as a saber grind, but I've used mine quite a bit, as you can see, right? And mine hasn't broken. Excuse me. You know, I can only tell you about the one that I have. You know, and since this has served me well, look at it. It's almost like a mini machete, right? Big knife, mini machete, but it's served me well. And these are, you can get these for a pretty good price as well, so I do recommend it. Schrade Small Kukri Machete. This thing has taken a tremendous amount of abuse, not only from just normal compact machete duties, but from use as a throwing knife. This has been hit by other blades. It's also hit into the spine of other blades. And for a $20 item, it's amazing that this thing has survived, but it has. It's very durable. I've resharpened it numerous times. I just recently reground the edge, so that should be nice and pristine. All right, because when you do, you know, I've hit this into other throwing knives that will roll your edge, but it's easy to fix and repair, and now it's razor sharp again. So for $20, if you need a compact machete, definitely recommended. Last but not least, Ontario SP53. People say, what's the difference between this and there's another one that resembles it. This is the saber grind. They have another Ontario knife that's the same knife but full flat. The saber grind is a little heavier, a little more metal, which, you know, it hits a little harder, just slightly more durable. And yeah, this has been well used. This thing, it's got some weight to it in the hand. Legitimately can be used as a mini hatchet if you had to. I have a lot of knives from Ontario. I have their Marine Raider, lots of this SP series. I can tell you of all the ones I've handled, this one is absolutely their hardest hitting of their SP series. 5160 carbon steel. Yeah, definitely highly recommended. Okay, so that's my medium to large size user knives, all recommended. And I just want to point out some features. All of these knives are carbon steels, most of them either 5160 or 1095, with the exception of the Machete, which is a stainless steel. But in general, all carbon steels. Also notice, all of these knives are from Ontario, K-Bar, or Schrade. I did not plan that way at all. I just took all my users, and this is what it's ended up being. These companies are not necessarily my favorite companies, you know, my favorite. But when push comes to shove and I need something to actually use, I seem to go to these companies, so they must be doing something right. All right, on to some larger blades. What you're looking at here is my Elite Strike Force. These are the blades that I call out to destroy all resistance. Many of them are not pretty, but they are brutally, brutally effective. I highly recommend this Condor Warlock. You know, you could call it a heavy machete. I don't know what you want to call it. I don't really care what you call it, but I've done everything with this. Full tang, of course, 1075 high carbon steel. I've hammered nails with it. That's what that's from. I've reprofiled the edge to be a very broad convex just for my own purposes, so this can basically smash through anything. Next are my two Aranyik blades. These are from Thailand. They're both 5160. And this thing looks like it's out of a Rambo movie. Alright, it's basically kind of a flared out dowel pattern. Heavy machete. It can also be made into a pole machete if you so choose. That is not rust. That is actually basically small particles of bark and wood that have become embedded in the forged finish as I was hacking through. So that's not rust there. But you know, it's brutally effective. Trust me, virtually indestructible. This is the Thai E-Nep, another Thai machete. Now I've just redone and completely repolished this convex edge. That's why hopefully it looks really nice and really new, but I spent a lot of time repolishing it. But it is a user, and before that, you know, the reason I had to repolish it is because it was looking all beat up. But trust me, this thing, this can hack through any resistance. As I said, has a good tip on it too. Now, the availability on these is still pretty spotty. If you can't get these, okay, for now, I'm still recommending the Condor. You can still get this, and when these become available, I'll let you know. Okay, this thing is just brutal because you can see what it is. I mean, it's heavy. It's just a slab. I believe it's a mid-carbon steel. This thing was $20, but I had the edge completely reprofiled. It had a really crap geometry, you know, but now, okay, with that edge reprofiled, with the weight of this thing will just sink in so deeply into a board or piece of wood. Like I said, it was $20 plus whatever time and energy it takes to reprofile. But this is kind of a poor man's version of the Aranyiks, which again, not quite widely available right now, so this is a poor man's version. It served me well. Hilco billhook machete. These are manufactured in Italy for Hilco. I just repolished that part as well. But because of its shape, very useful, this billhook shape. Yeah, it's very useful for certain tasks when clearing brush. Obviously, you can hook right around a limb. You know, you can cut the smaller branches off of a larger branch. You can dig. If you needed to, you could pierce. It'll also take, you know, it looks like something you'd see in a movie to take a zombie's head. I suppose it could do that too. But yeah, Hilco makes some good stuff, and just because of the toughness and the unique shape, it's in my user blades. It's in my special SWAT team of my spearhead force over here. Okay, this is my MSL Survival Bolo, and sorry for the glare. All right, sorry for the glare. It does have a high polish, so it's hard to show, but as you can see, heavily used. You can see it's all marked up. But check out my full review of this. This was hand forged in the Philippines by my friend Marius, and it's 5160 with a convex edge. He made it really light, but it's super powerful for its size. All right, so check that out, the MSL Survival Bolo, hand forged, based on traditional Filipino bolo and machete designs. Very cool. All right, so final thoughts on this batch. You know, what's pretty doesn't always work, and what works isn't always pretty. I think that's pretty much the lesson. All right, let's go on to axes, hatchets, and tomahawks. Okay, here we are, and also a couple light machetes up there. All right, let's start with the machetes. This is the Marbles. It's the Marbles black camo machete, but it also comes in just black without the gray stripes. But yeah, I've used this quite a bit. The finish, of course, will wear off, but for the price of this thing is a great light machete. It's got the edge like you see on Condors. All right, and I can't remember exactly how much this was, but it was a bargain. And if you get this from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, the sheath is free. If you buy it on Amazon, the sheath costs as much as a machete. But it's a nice sheath with pockets. You can base a survival kit around that. But if you're looking for a light machete, this thing, a bargain. Now, talk about bargains. This is the Harbor Freight machete. If you go to Harbor Freight, you've seen this. It does not come with an edge. You have to basically grind an edge on it yourself. It does come with rust spots, but I have to admit, for the $6 that this is, it's a perfectly usable light machete once you put an edge on it. Okay, starting with the smallest hatchet axe tomahawk first, this Browning Shock and Awe has proved itself to me. I was a little skeptical at first because it is basically, it's a little person tomahawk basically, but I've used this a lot. It's held up to everything I've done to it. Look, you can tell the back spike is all worn. I've resharpened it numerous times, and I actually just resharpened it recently, so hopefully the edge looks nice and clean and sharp. All right, but yeah, I mean, because it's one solid piece of metal, all right? I mean, it's virtually indestructible. This has been hit. This has been hit by other hatchets, because I've used this as a thrower. Look at this scar where it was actually hit by another hatchet, and it survived. It's fine. So, highly recommended there. My Estwing Carpenters hatchet. This is a great hatchet. As you can see, mine's all beat up. I've used it for virtually everything. I've resharpened it many times. All right, and bottom line, for around $35, this thing is great. It's a tool, camp tool, carpenter's tool. Could be a weapon if you needed it to be. You can even throw this. Yeah, this is an awesome item. Hilco Axe. Now, this is part of their Ranger series. The Hilco Ranger series is based on classic American designs, right? But it is made in Germany. So check out the Hilco Ranger series. Hilco North America is their website. Right, and I've used this quite a bit. You can see that part's really beat up, and it has survived. It's still on there as solidly as ever. I just have this to protect from overstrikes because this is basically beautiful wood from Switzerland. And, you know, when I get crazy, I don't want to dent it up. So it's got some padding and grip. But as you can see, the head is just well used. All right, so Hilco Ranger Series Axe. All right, little hand, well, not little, but 2-pound head. You know, awesome hard hitter. Cold Steel Trench Hawk. You know, this is one of my users. I've used it quite a bit. Not that it's ideal for, let's say, bushcraft or anything like that, but I've had this for so many years that just over the years, you know, I've just ended up using it a lot. Some person said it's only for fighting. That is not true. You know, you could take out little saplings and stuff. Even the spike, where I live, there's lots of ice, and if I have to, like, crack some ice that's on my driveway, that's great for cracking ice, breaking up ground so you can shovel it out. And the best thing about this is how light it is and how top heavy. The polypropylene handle, you know, makes it super light and very top heavy. You get a powerful swing. It's efficient, and I have to admit, it's held up to a lot of abuse, so it's earned its place in my user blades. Okay, and you know it's a good blade when it can't even fit on the screen. Hold on. All right. This is a Dayton Michigan axe, and again, this is what I bring out. This is what I bring out to crush all resistance, only when absolutely necessary. It's got a cut down handle, but it's still quite big. Yeah, it's a Dayton Michigan axe. When I first reviewed this axe, I was not very good at sharpening axes. That was, well, I think it was a couple years ago. But since I got my work sharp and I've gotten more axes, I've gotten better at sharpening axes, but, you know, Before then, this thing would hit like a giant baseball bat, but now it's scary with a good edge and the weight that this has. Yeah, this is a great axe. Dayton Michigan Axe. Okay, wow, that was a lot of blades. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, if you have questions, check out the individual video reviews. I've done reviews on most of these, not all, but I'm sure someone has reviewed them all. And you know, when you're a gear reviewer or a gear tester, of course, you always get people, oh, that blade doesn't look used enough. Oh, did you use that blade? As you can see, I have a large number of blades that are my user blades that are heavily used, probably a lot more than most people. I mean, granted, you could get by with just 2 or 3 of different sizes, you know, maybe one axe, one machete, and small, medium, and large fixed blade. All right, so I have quite a few that I've used hard, you know, more than most of the anonymous people that complain if some folding knife looks new. Well, I don't pry with folders, I don't chop with folders, and I don't baton with folders. And therefore, all my hard use stuff is fixed blades. So yeah, like everyone else, I have user blades, and probably more than your average person would need, but I enjoy them, and I have one for every task, you know. So I hope you enjoyed seeing them, and I hope you got maybe some good ideas, good suggestions, good recommendations for blades that you might need for various tasks. This has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.